Hello, hello, Tony Adams. Today, I usually have an apron on, but I just woke up and I did a little workout to get the juices flowing, had a cup of coffee, and said, you know, people have been saying, Tony, can you please do something? Can you make caramelized onions? I said, of course, I love caramelized onions. They are the best. Now, caramelized onions, what is that? Well, we have sauteed onions, which are not brown, but they're kind of softened up and they go on things and they're delicious. Not that. Fried onions, you fry those babies up in some oil, they get brown a little bit, you put them in your burgers, everything delicious. Also, very good. Caramelized onions are not either one of those two things. Caramelized onions are garnish that you put on your meats, your steaks, your pork chops, your whatever you like. It's something when you get a hold of it. Oh, there's the clock again. What time is it? It's 9:30 a.m. Oh, no cocktail? No cocktail at 9:30 a.m. At 9:30 a.m., I'm just going to do caramelized onions. So, caramelized onions have a unique taste, not too sweet, not sour, but just a perfect taste. And that's what I want to convey and show you how to make. Very simple stuff, no apron required. What is required? 2 big onions. You say, that's a lot of onions. But they're going to reduce, they're going to become smaller, and you're going to wish you had more when you finish. So, in addition to that, let me move over here, you're going to need some brown sugar, not much. I'll tell you how much as we move on. So, balsamic vinegar. That's about it. You may want a clove, but not required. So, you're going to need a big pot, because you're going to have to cook them, and then you're going to drain them. This is a colander, and we're going to let them drain from the colander into this great little bowl, mixing bowl. And then we'll come back and while that's draining, we'll make the sauce. So let's start off with cutting up the onions. We get this out of the way. Put it over here. You get the onion. You have to peel the onion first. Cut off one end. Cut off the other end. Put a little slice on the side like that, not too deep. Take your fingernail and put it under there and get the first layer of onion skin, or well, this part, you peel it off. If you get more than that, it's okay, don't worry. It's not a lot. Just peel it off like I'm doing, so you end up with this. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Clean it up. Oops, drop a little piece in the garbage. So, a beautiful knife, and I told you about, get a good knife when you're working. Now you have this onion. You got to look at the top, the flat side, or the flat side, and you'll see in the middle here, you see where it centers. You see where it centers. Cut just off to one side, so the center's still there on one side only. So on this side, no centerpiece. And this side, as you look at the bottom, you see this really close? Okay, so you probably can't see it. But see the bottom? Wait a minute. I don't want you looking at excess that we wanted to get rid of to begin with. So, you see the bottom there? That has the piece I'm talking about. Bottom here, that piece is not there. We're going to cut this piece away. Watch. Watch, watch, watch. Okay. So we're going to make a V on both sides, here and here. And we're just going to pop that out. Centerpiece is gone. See my little V? Don't cut your fingers now. Okay. With that, we're going to come closer. And how close do we have to be for this? I guess I'm not going to come closer. Doing yourself is sometimes tricky. Alright, maybe you can see it. I hope you can see it. But I'm going to cut it so we end up with pieces like this. See how it's like a little half moon? We cut the whole onion like that. It's very important that you do this so you get all the same size pieces of onion. And as you get to the flat side, you just turn it and keep going, or start the other side the same way. There, 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 there. Again, you turn it this way. As long as the pieces are around the same size, flip it over, keep going, keep going. Okay. This is what we end up with. Lots of little pieces that are like little moons. So we want to keep the little moons. Even if it's like this, you break it, it still becomes the little moons. And they're important because we want the same little pieces of onion texture, the same consistency throughout the cooking process. So I am going to do the same thing with the rest of the onion, because that was only 1/2, and I still have 1 onion to go. Okay, so let me pause, come back, and I'll show you what it looks like all cut up. Like I said, it's a very easy meal to make. So give me a second, and I will be right back. Okay, look what I did. Look what I did. Whole bowl of onions, all chopped up, ready to go, right? So, what we're going to do with these onions, we're going to take this big pot, non-stick pot, no oil, well, no oil, because it is a non-stick pot. If you have a pot that is not non-stick, or is not a seasoned pot, you can put a light, very, very light coating of oil in the bottom, okay? You may need it if it's not a I can't say it. If it's not a non-stick pot. Oh man. Okay, so there it is. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna take it, put it on the stove, and we're gonna turn it on. And we're gonna let it get warm real quick. As soon as it gets warm, oops, excuse me. That's not the top. This is the top. So, as soon as we hear it start to tss a little bit, put the top on, reduce the flame as much as possible. Well, maybe not as much as possible. Reduce it down so it's very, very low, because the goal here is not to fry the onions. It's not to brown the onions. It's just to let the onions soften. You know, this is going to take 45 minutes, maybe an hour for this to take place. I know, it's a long time, isn't it? But, you know, you don't have to do anything. Just, you hear it? You hear it? It's starting to sizzle. It's starting to get to the point where we cover it and we turn the flame down. That's good enough for me, because like I said, we're not trying to brown these babies. Okay, cover it up. Look down and turn down. Turn down, turn down, turn down. There you go. That's pretty much, it's a gas stove, and I have all the rings lit, but they're pretty much as low as I can get them. I've covered them, and figure 20, 30 minutes into this, we'll just give them a stir to be sure, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we take them out. And I'll show you, because we're going to take them out of the pot and put them directly into a colander. Can you tell that's a colander? See the little holes in the bottom? Oh, there's coffee. It's teapot. I'm going to make a nice cup of coffee. My French press. This is good. I got rid of all my coffee makers. See, I always go off on a tangent. I got rid of all my coffee makers, and now I make a French press. I love the French press. Dark, rich, thick coffee. You can make it as strong or as weak as you like. I like a nice, thick, heavy-duty cup of coffee. It wakes me up in the morning, gets me... Oh, you gotta say, yeah, it gets you hyper. Yeah, I guess it does get me hyper. So it gets me hyper, so I'm about to have a cup of coffee and let these onions soften up, and then I'll show you where we go with that afterwards, okay? So, hang in there, and I will be right back. We're back. caramelized onions have been on the stove now for 50 minutes. They've been covered at a very low flame and they've been softening up. I stirred them 25 minutes after I put them on there. They're ready. We take them off and now we see where we go to the next step. Not a big deal. So we get a pot of hot caramelized onion, softened onions. Take the top off. Ooh, baby, that's hot. Look at that. A colander. I told you about the colander. And the pot that the colander is resting in. Because we're going to take these out of here. And I want you to see this. I really want you to see this. I'm going to see if I can get the camera to go and take a look in the pot. So let's see. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Yes, we can. I think. All right. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. See, they're not browned. Well, maybe a little bit some places, but pretty much you're just soft. See, you soften them up. Nice. Aren't they pretty? Oh. Okay, so I'm going to take them now and transfer them to our colander. Like that. Like that. Gee, this is difficult sometimes. Okay, we're going to take them all out of here and transfer them. Very pretty. Oh, they look great. And obviously there's no oil in here at all, which is good because they're not supposed to be greasy and oily because it's a garnish. Not that you can't have greasy, oily garnishes. Sometimes that's good. But in this case, that's not what we're shooting for. We're shooting for caramelized onions. So let me show you this. I mix them around a little bit so you can see. There. Now you can see perfectly. See, they're hot, and we're going to let them drain. We're going to let them cool off, and we're going to let any liquid that's left on them just drain off into the bottom of this bowl, and we'll get rid of it. And we'll see, Sophie, and we'll see just what that looks like, and then we'll continue to make the caramelized sauce, which is the key to all of this. And then we're going to mix it together. And I'll show you what comes next. So just give me a second, and we'll come right back. Right back. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're going to make the sauce for the caramelized onions. It's very simple. It's very simple. So watch. Some brown sugar, a pot, a small one, big spoon. Now I'll tell you honestly, this is to taste. You have to acquire a slight taste for this. It's what you prefer, and I'll explain what that means. I'm going to start off because I never remember exactly how I did it, but I have a good idea. I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 nice heapings. 5. 5 nice heapings of dark brown granulated sugar. Okay? Start off with that. With that, you're going to get balsamic vinegar. And now you're going to take your balsamic vinegar. It's like vinegar, yeah. You won't believe this. It's going to be so good. And you're going to find yourself using this little recipe on other things like glazing your meat as you're cooking it. But we'll get to that on another thing. Right now we're just going to do caramelized onions. Okay. 1, I've got, this is a tablespoon in my hand. 1, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Now we don't want to hurt our pot, because it's a non-sticker. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a stirring device. I like my silicone one because it's non-stick. And we're going to stir it together. And what it's going to do when you start stirring it together, it's going to make that. It's going to get all your balsamic vinegar mixed in with your sugar. And sugar, as you know, melts as soon as it comes in contact with liquid. So what I'm going to also do is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. Water. I get something to put the water in so you can see me do it. Okay. I got a big pot with a little bit of water. 2 tablespoons of water. Because we want to make sure that we get the balsamic vinegar and the sugar to become soft and not become granulated anymore. Now we're going to stick it on the stove. No, we're not going to stick it on the stove. We're going to turn on the stove, turn it down to very low, and set this on top and start stirring. And as it gets hotter, it'll get thicker and it'll become smooth. And that's what you're shooting for. Smooth. Totally smooth. And this won't take too long. Just start giving it a stir. As soon as it starts to heat up, it's smoothing. It's becoming like I feel less of the granulated sugar, and I see more almost a syrupy mixture starting. Make sure there are no lumps in there, no sugar lumps. But again, you shouldn't see any sugar lumps after a short time. I got one sugar lump taken out of here because I don't trust it. It's just like it was a lumpy sugar thing and it didn't dissolve quick enough. So I don't know why, I don't care why. But you can see now it looks almost like chocolate syrup you put on your ice cream sundae. But it's not at all chocolate syrup that you put in your ice cream sundae. It's your balsamic vinegar mixture. So with that now almost, you see I haven't been doing it very long. Just talking right through it here. Almost totally smooth. I still feel a little bit of, you can feel the granulation of the sugar in it as you stir. And that's how you know when it's completely dissolved, because you stop feeling it completely. And that's the trick, you have to stop feeling it completely. You never want to leave any of that granulation there because it'll end up in your mouth. You know, it's not a crunchy sauce. Okay, it's a sweet sauce. Not really sweet. So I'm going to take at this point and check. I'm going to take a little spoon, because I know it's smooth at this point, and you see it's very little. It's still a little granular. I can see the granulation in there. So we want it to totally dissolve. I'm going to taste it though. I want to see how it is so far. Wow. That's it. That's the right taste. It's not sour. It's not really sweet. So now I know I got the right consistency of sugar to vinegar and water. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more because I want it to, I want to be sure that that granulation is totally dissolved. So I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to almost bring it to a boil as I stir it. So set that there for a minute, let it get a little hotter, and we'll see what it looks like and see how it's coming out. Meanwhile, like I told you before, we're draining and cooling the onions, and I'll show you how they're going to work together and make this beautiful garnish. Caramelized onions. Okay, so give me a second or two, and I will be right back. Okay, you see what I'm doing? I brought it to a boil, a violent boil, and I'm stirring it. And you know, look, it's getting thicker. Oops, sorry, it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. Let it thicken up a little bit. Leave it at that boil. You're going to make a syrupy mixture. Okay, leave it at that boil for a little while. Let it get thick. So what's happening is the water is evaporating, and it's going back down to like a syrup. Very hard to keep the camera on there. It's getting to a syrup. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yeah, see, look how thick it is now. See, now it's really getting thick. Now keep in mind, as it cools, it's going to get even thicker. So we're going to not do anything else. We're going to turn it off for now. Because we know it's going to cool, and we know it's going to stop boiling, and it's going to get thick. And you're going to keep it steady, keep it steady. All right, here we go. See the boiling slowing down. It's just bubbling now. And those bubbles will go down as well. And you'll see it'll be a nice, thick, rich sauce. Okay? Okay. Nice, rich, thick sauce. And that's what we're shooting for, right? Nice, rich, thick sauce. Bubbling because it's going down. Going down. Look at that. See? Look, it's getting thicker and richer and thicker and richer. And I'm not going to pour it on the floor. But you know what I'm saying. You'll see. Okay. What's next, you say? I'll tell you. We're going to get a pan. All right. This big baby. You don't have to use one. I'm not going to use it. Yes, I am. You don't have to use one this big. But I am. But it's non-stick, and that's always good, especially when you're cleaning up. I recommend using non-stick. I'm going to turn the heat up to medium. And start it warming up. Now, because we cooked the onions and we've let them drain for an hour or so, there's liquid in the bottom. Not a lot, actually, but sometimes you get a lot of liquid. So, liquid in the bottom, and here are these beautiful, beautiful onions that we're just going to drop in the pan. Drop in the pan, and we're going to spread them out. And you're going to hear them start to sizzle because we have the flame on medium and the pan's getting hot. It's not hot yet, but it's getting hot. This is what we looks like in the pan. Okay, and it's going to get hot, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. So you watch. Back in a second. Okay, can you hear them? They're starting to sizzle. That means the last of the moisture is boiling off. In the meantime, our sauce has thickened to a nice... Alright, to a nice, you can even see it, right? To a nice, there, now you can see it. Now you can see, look at it, it's beautiful. And remember how it tastes, it's going to be excellent. Because we tasted, we checked it before we thickened it. Now the onions are doing well. We're getting the last of the moisture out of them. We don't want them to stick, so be careful. This doesn't take long. Swish them around a little bit. If they brown slightly, okay, but you're not making fried onions, so again, we're just making sure that the moisture is out of it, so they're not watery at all. Keep doing this. If they start to stick, you know you're overdoing it. Okay. Okay, look at that. Nice. See, these aren't starting to stick, but they are nice and dry. You know how you know that they're drying? If you take a look at them, aside from the sizzle that you're listening to, look at the steam. Less steam, less moisture. Okay, so the steam is almost gone. Almost gone. So you want to get these to there right before they start to stick. Because if they start to stick, it means there's no moisture left. So you see the steam. These are little things you have to know. It's not just throw it together, but you have to pay attention to this type of thing. It's slow. It's not cooking very fast. The steam is not burning off that quickly. And if you see, they start to break apart because of the heat, which is fine. They start breaking apart. Okay, there's still some steam in here, but we're going to shortly turn this off. We're going to turn it off now. Okay, flame off, steam still there, because we're going to add the caramelized, we're going to do the caramelization process. Do one last stir, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Oh, nice. And see, they've maintained that glow. They're not burning. Now I told you when you make the, you could add a clove and then take the clove out when you're making the sauce. I didn't do that. I didn't do it because I'm scared people go, I don't like cloves. Okay, I got it. I like clove. I put a little clove in there and I take the clove out before I actually finish. You barely taste it, just one. Okay? Okay, so here we are. Here's a thick, and I mean thick sauce. Look at this. Look at this. Pour it right in. Look how thick. It's like molasses. Okay, don't play around. Get it out of there. And then you're going to put some water in your saucepan so it doesn't stick. Because the more this dries, the more it's going to stick to the bottom of this pan. And it's a non-stick pan, but you're going to need hot water to clean it if it dries completely. So let me just put some water in this. Hot water. Hot water in the pan. Okay. Okay. Now we give this a stir, and we mix the onion and the sauce, the mixture of vinegar, balsamic vinegar, and brown sugar, which we will not even know that that's what we're tasting. Okay, now that smells good. Now we don't want to burn it, but we want it to merge nicely because you know it's going to be thick. It won't be thick like you saw in the pot. But I want to heat it again just a little bit because I want to just be sure that we have that color, that texture that we want. You'll see. This is the bowl it's going to go in. We're going to go from here to the bowl and we're done. So let it come to a boil. Look at that. It's starting. It's starting. It's bubbling. Oh, nice, nice. See it bubbling? We're burning off any extra moisture. And we're thickening it up again because the onions are still a little moist. Even though they drained. That's okay. We're taking care of that right now. We're getting that caramelization going. You gotta do it while it's hot. Alright, let's give them a stir because you know it's caramelizing off of the pan. And they're looking good. Give it a stir. These are going to be so good. You can smell it. This is going to be so good. Watch. The more you do this, the thicker your sauce is going to get, especially as it cools. But it's not going to be thick like it was when I poured it in yet. But it is fusing with the onions right now. And you like that. Let them fuse. See how it bubbles more around the edges? That's where it's thickening up. It's becoming dark, rich caramelization. And I have it up pretty high because I want to get that bubbling effect that's going on. Give it another stir. Bring from the outside to the inside. So the onion's getting wet. From the outside to the inside. Good stir in the pan. And as you see, it's starting to get a little darker, right? Caramelized onions. Here we go. Here we go. So you thought with those two huge onions, we're going to have a lot of onions, but you don't because it reduces so much. So you see how long it's actually taking. But that's good because we can watch the process taking place. See the edges? See edges are caramelizing a lot more. Let them go, let them go. Let them get sticky. Oh yeah. Now mix them up again. Keep mix them up, keep mix them up. You hear that sizzle, right? You hear it? And look, it's darker and darker. Oh, nice. Spread them out. We're almost ready. We're almost ready. And you know, this is how you make the caramelized onions, and it's a garnish that you can put on anything. These are going to end up on pork chops. And I'm going to show you what I did with the pork chops and how we use the caramelized onions with it. A little bit longer, a little bit longer. And I mean tender, juicy pork chops with brown gravy and mushrooms. Unbelievable. Watch and see. That'll be a pork chop video. Okay, look at that. It's doing good, right? Nice and dark. Give it a stir, give it a stir. You know, when you see this, you say to yourself, yeah, okay, it looks like a lot, and am I really going to like it? Is it going to be a big deal, you know? Yes, it is. You try this once and do it just like I'm doing this, and you tell me if it was a big deal or not, okay? If you do what I did, you're going to say, hey, this is great. And you can impress your friends, too. They're going to go, what is this? Because they probably never had caramelized onions like this. They get confused with fried onions, and sauteed onions, blah blah blah. But this is a process, as you can see, caramelization. Ah, nice. Okay, I think this is just about done. Okay, look, they're dark. They've darkened up nicely, right? I just like listening to it. I think I don't know. All right, turn it off. Don't get crazy. Off. Okay, and now we're going to put it right on the plate, right on the in the bowl. Going to get back to the bowl, All right. So we're going to gather them together into one little section on the pan, and we're going to scrape them into the bowl. Okay, and this lovely little garnish, caramelized onions. Be sure to quickly put some hot water in your pan so you don't have to go scrubbing your pan forever. A little soap wouldn't hurt, so put a little soap in there and hot water. And give it a stir, give it a stir. Easiest way to clean your pan, right after you use it. If you let this sit in your pan, you're not going to be a happy camper later on because it'll harden up. So take care of that up front. This is Tony Adams, and let me straighten it up so you can see me and the caramelized onions together. Maybe not. Okay, this is them. These are caramelized onions, and they are so good. Now, this is like equivalent to a big jar of relish, a small jar of relish. You don't need a lot of these. These are not, don't have to be the star. You put them on your meats. You put them on your mashed potatoes. You put them on pretty much anything. When you taste them, you'll get it. Until you taste them, it looks like 2 onions. That's all I get. You don't have to put a lot. They're good. You can put them on the side. So try them out. See what you think. It's worth it. It's really worth it. Try them out. I'm not even going to taste them. I know what they taste like, and I'm not going to burn my mouth right now because they're hot and they're kind of gooey. They won't be as gooey when you use them, but you'll like them. So, bless you. Be happy and enjoy the caramelized onions. Bye-bye. Talk to you later. It's Tony. Goodbye. See ya.